Canada won't bow down to a bully, and we won't stand by as tariffs hurt our workers and their families.
We will go to the full extent, depending how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy.
And now is also the time to choose Canada.
Y'all, we gotta talk about Canada. The fact that, they are ready with these tariffs, which is hilarious considering I feel like the United States government could never move as quickly. But the fact that they have a detailed strategy on how to retaliate and react to the Trump tariff plan, we have to keep in mind, like, so much of our building materials, power, energy, like, so much comes from Canada. We import something like $430 billion worth of products from Canada alone. And it's energy, manufacturing, a lot of vehicles, car parts and stuff like that, meat, agriculture, all of that comes from them. The absolute cherry on the fucking top of this cake is the fact that Canada specifically is going to target red states. Yes, thank you, Canada, because they deserve it. You vote for a jerk, you fuck around and you find out.
The trade war has just gotten serious. First, the United States slapped a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, and now Canada is striking back. Hey everyone, welcome back. And today we are diving into the latest US and Canada trade war drama. So before I say anything, let's watch these clips, then I'll be back.
So Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just said that Canada will retaliate against Donald Trump should he impose tariffs on them tomorrow. Here's what Trudeau just said at a press conference, quote, "If the president does choose to implement any tariffs against Canada, we're ready with a response, a purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. It's not what we want, but if he moves forward, we will also act." So props to Justin Trudeau for taking a stand against Donald Trump and frankly for expressing how we in America feel about these tariffs too. Nobody wants them. When Donald Trump imposes these tariffs, this will raise the cost of consumer goods at the grocery store and will likely increase gas costs, which is the total opposite of what Donald Trump promised he'd do when he was campaigning. It's only week 2 of his presidency and Donald Trump has already seemed to destroy diplomatic relations with Canada and is on the brink of starting a trade war.
We have major breaking news right now. Canada has officially announced retaliatory tariffs against the United States. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in a press conference I am watching as we speak, has announced 25% tariffs on $155 billion of American goods. Tariffs for $30 billion worth of goods will take effect on Tuesday. The remaining $125 billion worth of tariffs will take effect in 21 days' time to allow the Canadian companies to find alternative supply chains. Now, the products that will be impacted are everyday products, including beer, wine, bourbon, fruit juice, vegetables, clothing, shoes, and so much more. Trudeau is actively urging the White House not to follow through with these tariffs, but says that if the tariffs will impose, Canada is fighting back and Canada will do the same.
In case you haven't seen, Canada, Justin Trudeau just announced a retaliatory 25% tariff towards the U.S. You know Daddy Trump is not going to allow that. He's going to one-up it some way,
So Justin Trudeau just announced, he's still announcing, I'm still watching the news, but he just announced that he is going tariff for tariff. He is going ban for ban. He has announced that Canada is going to be implementing a 25% tariff on 155 billion American products. He is standing strong and he's not backing down. He is not backing down. This is a new era for Canadians and Americans. Like, shit is about to go down. This is about to be crazy because if both countries have 25% tariffs, I'm a little disappointed. It's a little disappointed that we didn't shut off electricity. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't just decide to just cut the electricity. A little disappointed. But he's still announcing. Maybe he's going to say more. Maybe this is what we're going to do in this moment. Maybe there's more to come. I know there's more to come. My Canadian friends, Canadians, we're now in a trade war with the United States.
It's clear Canada isn't just standing by, they have officially imposed their own sets of tariffs in response to the US move. Now, these counter tariffs will hit American exports very hard. We are talking about billions of dollars worth of goods now facing new taxes at the Canadian border. We are talking of agricultural products like fresh fruits and vegetables, clothing and household items, certain US wines and liquor, and even automotive parts, which could shake up supply chains. Well, it seems Canadians' message is clear to the United States. But here's where things get tricky. While Canada is fighting back, a lot of Canadians are worried about the impact of this trade war on their own economy.
I'm going to explain to all of you guys how bad the economic impact of the tariffs that Donald Trump is proposing can be for Canadians. When you have a tariff, that means that export, meaning whatever I'm selling from Canada into the US, just became 25% more expensive. It's going to impact heavy sectors like automotive, energy, agriculture, and wood, which is already being destroyed with a lot of tariffs that we pay. But because those are massive exports of Canada, those industries are going to be so heavily impacted that it's going to result in layoffs. The demand for those products in the US is going to go down because that cost just went up. So instead, Americans are going to look for those products locally within their markets instead of importing it from Canada. Think of it this way. Would you rather have eggs locally for $1 or would you have it for $1.25 coming from the US? You're obviously going to pick the cheaper option. So economists have predicted that it's going to roughly translate into a loss of 2% of our GDP. I think that's very conservative.
If you are Canadian and you're hearing about tariffs all over the news and you are wondering how this is going to affect the Canadian economy, this video is for you. The US has announced that they're going to be taxing Canadian imports by 25%. So as a quick refresher, a tariff is a tax that is placed on an import coming in from a country. Tariffs fall under the category of protectionism versus free trade. Under protectionism, a country is trying to safeguard and also promote industries within their own borders and reduce reliance and even create barriers to trade with other countries so that businesses are buying from local manufacturers rather than global manufacturers. And if they do want to buy from a global manufacturer, they are going to be taxed by 25% on that. And what does that do? That brings the onus of compensating for that cost to the consumer. That affects global supply chains. That's going to create uncertainty in markets globally and disrupt the economy. Now, where this affects Canadians is that the US wants to impose 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports to the US. And keep in mind, even if one or two industries were taxed, this would have had a ripple effect on the economy. In 2018, it was mainly steel, lumber, and aluminum that was taxed, and that in itself was posing a lot of different economic issues. The Canadian Chamber of Commerce has predicted that 25% tariffs on all goods could push the Canadian economy into recession by mid-2025. For a country like Canada that has $1.9 billion of its daily goods and services dependent on sales to the United States, the economic hit that the Canadian economy is going to face really cannot be undermined. Canada's GDP, or gross domestic product, could shrink by 2.6%.
Some business owners say these tariffs could drive up costs for consumers, making everyday essentials more expensive. And others warn that it could lead to job losses, especially in industries that depend on American imports. And let's not forget, many Canadian businesses sell products that rely on materials from the United States. And if prices go up, who do you think will be paying for it? Yeah, that's right, the average Canadian. And at the same time, others argue that these tariffs are necessary to protect Canadian industries, which will encourage people to buy local instead of depending on the United States. In fact, some are even calling for a full-scale boycott on American goods. Now, here's the big question. Will these counter-tariffs actually work in both countries? Well, some experts believe that both countries will suffer, but Canada has more to lose because of its smaller economy. Others also argue that Canada's strong trade partnership with other countries like the European Union and Asian markets could help cushion the blow. But let's be real, if this trade war escalates, everyday people like the farmers, factory workers, to small business owners are the ones who are going to be affected more, and even the consumers. So I'm left wondering, will the United States back down now that Canada has retaliated? Or are we looking at a full-on economy showdown between these two countries? And most importantly, how do you think this will play out? Will Canada's move hurt the USA, or will it come back to bite them instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And as always, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates on this developing story.